to become a certified educator here in the state of Minnesota, then here's what you do. You go to college. You sign up for a professional education program that is properly approved and accredited through PELSB. That's kind of the state rigmarole. And after you've completed your college degree in a properly accredited program, there's another process by which you apply for your educator license. So you actually have kind of two processes. And then keeping your educator license also requires upkeep, professional development, things like that. So you could kind of look at it as, you know, the higher ed space has some canoes in some of those spaces that you can use to go to educator land, and then you still have to do some stuff in educator land. That's the normal pathway. We had problems because how would we ever get an Indigenous educator in front of an Indigenous kid to teach an Indigenous language? And here in Minnesota, we developed, and a lot of other states have done this too, what is often in layman's terms been called an eminence credential. And the protocol for that is to get a letter from a tribal leader, get a letter from an academic person. Take those letters, fill out some paperwork, and you can actually get a credential, although it's a limited credential. It's not a full educator license in a subfield and all of that, but to teach an American Indian language or culture. And the idea behind it was sound. Like, what if we'd have somebody who's got a PhD in Indigenous ways, they're a fluent speaker of the language, they know their culture, and we want to get them in front of the kids. It's a way, because we're not going to send 75-year-old grandma back to college for 5 years to go through that system, you know, and then have a productive career afterwards. It's a way to get her in front of the kids and to acknowledge Indigenous ways of knowing too. So that's the intent. And it served that purpose in many cases. Although, because all you need is a letter from a tribal person and a letter from an academic person, a lot of districts have been saying, Joe Schmo, it doesn't matter if you don't speak your language, go get a letter from a tribal person, go get a letter from an academic person, and let's circumvent the process. Also, getting a letter from an academic person and getting a letter from a tribal person does not mean that you know how to run with kids all day, every day. Does not necessarily mean that you know what a lesson plan is or how to build one or how to take one that's been built and implement it in your classroom. It doesn't mean you can read a scope, sequence, objectives, outcomes, benchmarks, and sculpt an educational journey for a kid with effect. So it serves a purpose, but it does not fix all the things. And it also means that someone with that credential is only qualified to teach American Indian language or culture. And with the many districts that are out of compliance with Minnesota statutes now, most have not, and probably don't even have a plan to, have a full-time educator just to deliver on that mandate. They plan to have someone part-time. And if you are a Native person who knows your language and culture, or a Native person who has a college degree, do you want to work part-time for a school district and get paid $20,000 for the year? Or would you rather work for a tribe, nonprofit, or program and get paid 3 times that plus benefits? Right? So it's very difficult to fill those positions. I do think there's stuff that districts need to do, like let's pony up. Let's hire full-time people. Let's do this. But we also need the people for them to hire, and that's what we're going to try to do. So we have a well-established, we're actually started as a teacher college, Pellsby approved college degree program with all of the subsets and specializations and so forth that a good teacher prep program should have. And there is a new protocol that's been articulated by the state that nobody has done yet, which is to use basically the protocol that is used for an eminence credential for an individual, and to have a whole program sanctioned by tribes and with a stamp of approval from the Tribal Nations Education team, and you can actually get a whole program substantiated that way. It also is narrowly defined just for American Indian languages and cultures. So if that's the only thing we did, we would also be equipping people for lots of part-time jobs. So our goal is to do both and make it possible for someone to complete their degree in a reasonable amount of time. As it is right now, getting a college degree in a professional ed program, it's hard to do that in 4 years. It's more like 5 in most places. Some it's a little longer than that. Sometimes you can get through in like 4.5. It's tough. And there are lots of other things, like we should be paying all educators more. We should be supporting all people pursuing education degrees more. And with more money, more supports, like there's huge workplace shortages just for educators, period. All of those things will help with these things too. That's part of, like, we're all breathing smog in the education space. We need to reduce smog so everyone can breathe better. And it's everyone's kids. And we need to look at places that have had concentrated, oppressive smog and do more work there. So the goal then will be for students to come in, get a regular education pathway to become, it could be anything, English teacher, social studies teacher, and also at the same time to use this alternative teacher licensure pathway and pick up a second set of credentials so that someone who's completed the effort will really have 2 teaching licenses. One with a specialization in American Indian languages and cultures, and the other in a standard education field. Like, if somebody's going to learn how to teach English, part of their curriculum is to learn about literature. Part of their curriculum is to learn about story structure and narrative. It's not just English language per se, although that's part of their curriculum too. So they are going to add to the basket of classes in the Pellsby approved program courses in Ojibwe oral literature, Ojibwe story and syntax, and things like that, so that a student who wants to get an English license through a standard process will be able to take some classes that will also count for this Ojibwe language teacher training program. So that way they can kind of get 2 birds with 1 stone, and it won't take them 10 years to get 2 educator licenses.